Big Daddy here for a review, thoughts, impressions on Linux Mint 18 KDE version with Plasma 5.6. Now, Linux Mint is the distribution that I recommend to anybody coming over from Windows. Anybody that doesn't have a lot of Linux experience, I recommend it to any of them because it has a lot of customization that you don't find in the regular versions of, say, Kubuntu, any of the vanilla flavors, even KDE Neon, which I run, it doesn't have as much customization as Linux Mint does. They do a great job of adding themes, making them across the board, adding things to the file manager to make it easier. They do a lot of customization, and a new user appreciates that. Not everybody cares about that, but new users definitely appreciate that. So when you boot up into Linux Mint, you're going to see this, which is the welcome screen. And, when I watch other videos and I see people going through the welcome screen, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going through the welcome screen. But you know what? For new users, this is something that they're gonna need. And no, I don't need to see it, and probably half of you don't need to see it. But with the new features, documentation, this is where they install the apps. This is the drivers, where you install your driver for your video card and whatnot. This is an important piece of information. And like I said, we don't need to go through the whole thing, but it definitely is something that a new user will appreciate Mint for putting it in there. Okay, so I didn't change a whole lot. I installed some things to record the video. I actually switched this to the full screen menu. When you right click this little icon here and hit alternatives, the application launcher is what Mint comes with by default. For all intents and purposes, it's a nice menu. It's a nice launcher. The other two that come with it are nice as well. None of them suit my taste completely. The application menu is like a quick featured menu where it doesn't got a lot of flash, it doesn't got a lot of stuff in it, but it's got what you need. It's got the search box. It flips through the items real fast, and you have your favorites. So it's just quick and easy. Um, and then, like I said, you have the application dashboard, which is the full screen menu. None of these are my favorite, but that's for another video. Anyway, for the system tray over here, you have your normal stuff. But one thing about KDE over most operating systems, you can hide the system tray entries that you don't want to see, which is it's a Windows-esque type thing where you can't do this in Cinnamon, you can't do this in XFCE. You either have applets that you can't remove or don't want to remove completely. You just want to hide them, but you can't. There is a applet for Cinnamon that's called a drawer, I believe, and it is able to hide certain things, but it is very buggy and doesn't work well with the new Cinnamon. So that's pretty much out. So in Dolphin, which is the file manager for Linux Mint KDE, you have a lot of nice features like the split screen, which is pretty awesome, where you can have two screens and drag and drop folders. Linux Mint does a lot of customizing in here where they add in the right click menu actions that aren't normally there, like open as root, open the terminal here. Stuff that maybe not a brand new user would use, but a intermediate user would use. And I know that these can be added after the fact, but like I said, for the intermediate user who's not going to try to go in and add them, but wants to be able to, add themes somewhere to the themes folder besides putting them in the home folder, wants them system wide, this is a good thing. So Dolphin is one of the best file managers out there. It's not the prettiest, in my opinion. I mean, I kind of like the uh, look of Cinnamon and Nemo, but like I said, it is the most customizable and the most powerful file manager. Um, that's about it for everything. I mean, I'm not going to go through all the software. I mean, you basically know that they put a lot of nice software in. Okay, so that's kind of useless for a video like this. But I will give you what happened to me when I installed it. So, like I said, I did go to install it, and I did run into problems, and this was one of them. So, when I go to install it, I have quite a few hard drives in my computer, and when it gets to the partitioning part of the install, it hangs a little bit on that section. Linux Mint has always done that, at least for the last couple distributions that they've put out. And so I'll walk away or something from the computer to go do something because I know it's going to take a little bit. So when I come back, I see this, which it says the screen locker is broken and unlocking is not possible. So it's very nice that they tell you, okay, so in order to unlock, you got to do this, this, and this. And I was able to do that. But the idea is if it's that messed up, if it's broken, then they should do something to not allow it to lock. Maybe not install the screen locker on the um, USB or the ISO file. I don't know. I guess you need it, but there's got to be something. You got to be able to do something to stop it from locking. I mean, maybe that's the only thing they could do. I don't know. Is give you the option. But let's put it this way: a new user is not going to be able to do this. A guy coming over from Windows who's maybe just fumbling through the install, it's not going to happen. The other thing that I ran into was when I installed it and I'm done, and I've run into this before with Linux Mint, that I have an Nvidia 1060 card, and once I get done the install and go to reboot, once it logs out and starts shutting down, I get this, which is some type of Nvidia error, and got a little video of it, and it just keeps flipping up the screen, and it will never stop. It just doesn't stop. It just keeps on going. The only way to fix it is to hit the power button. Okay, so when you boot back up into Linux Mint, everything's fine and everything's installed right. It's just a little bug, I guess, from something to do with the NVIDIA drivers. The other thing I noticed that, like there, look, that little graphic error when you go to close something, that is in 5.6. It is not in 5.7, I don't believe, and it's definitely not in 5.8. Um, And also, when you go to mess with the sound settings, I'm not going to do it in the video because I don't feel like redoing this video and having it crash, but when you go to adjust the volume and the sound settings and your mic, switching the mic around and whatnot, uh, Plasma crashes. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'm going to say that, like I said, I normally uh, recommend Linux Mint to new users, but I don't know if I would recommend this to everybody. Now, I have family members that are running this and not having any problems because they don't mess with the sound and they don't do the certain things that causes it like this. I installed it and I got them through the errors that they made, that Lint made. So not everybody's going to run into these problems, but I don't know that if I would like be talking to a friend, you know, in another state and say, "Hey, try this Linux Mint distro." I don't know if I would do that. I would probably recommend them to go to the Cinnamon version of Linux Mint because just of Cinnamon is pretty nice, uh, and it doesn't have near the problems as this version of KDE has. Now, maybe sometime they'll update to the 5.8, but for right now, um, it's a nice operating system. Once you get it running, it's a nice operating system. It looks really nice. It's powerful, customizable, but I don't know if it's for brand new users or people that don't want a lot of problems. So there you have it. There's my thoughts. And hopefully, I know the Linux Mint team works hard. I know they put a lot of effort into it. Hopefully some of the things will be worked out, and there, there you have it. From me to you, Big Daddy out.